Okay, so I've decided that my hair is a thing, um, but also that a lot of my more private videos were like I'm talking about my family and like my like anything that's like a big issue that like involves someone else primarily. Like I'm gonna make those videos private because I feel like although those experiences have like, impacted me like insanely, they're also like talking about them like a lot, and like I would just feel like it's too private to like reveal, like and forgive Popcorn for like losing his mind over there, like um he's not losing his mind, he's just adjusting his rocks again, like he does it all the time, like it's really loud. And for some reason, it typically happens when I'm making a video. Like, I don't understand. Why? Popcorn? Okay, anyways. I turned off his light so he can go to night so that he will stop making noise. Although that's clearly not working. It's gonna work though, like eventually. Like usually when I turn off the light he settles down pretty quickly. Um But anyways, like I just feel like those videos are kind of like a little too much information about like the other people. Like sure they've impacted me in a big way, and also like they also were like I feel like they're important to share, but like not to everyone. And so that's why I'm gonna be making them private. So yeah, cause I like it's been like a heavy weight on me for a while where I've been kind of like, do I need this? Or like, is it like necessary for me to continue this YouTube channel and like talk about them in such a negative light? Even though like the negative light is in no way false, it is completely true, but I also know that they would not be okay with me talking about them like that or revealing those very like private moments. So like from now on, like I'm just gonna like not make videos like that and make the videos that I've made like that private, because like again they don't need to be like seen by like everyone, you know. Even though like I do love you guys and like it's important to like talk about stuff that bothers you, like it's not important if it's for the like the sacrifice of others, and like if you know that they wouldn't appreciate it then you shouldn't do it. So I also kind of feel bad because like I feel like because of how I've talked about them, even though it's in no way false, like I like still love them, and like I still love the people that have hurt me and like have forgiven them and moved on. But it's becoming kind of clear that some of you have not, and like some of you hold grudges against my family because of the things that they've done to me, which is nice. Like it's like admirable that like you care enough to like care about like how I feel and like what I've gone through. But I also like don't want you guys to hate them, don't want you guys to like dislike them for the mistakes that they've made, because everyone makes mistakes. So and I mean sure their mistakes have been a little bit more extreme and hurt more than average mistakes, but like who's to say that I won't make similar mistakes in the future of my life? Like, who's to say that other people have not made similar mistakes in their lives and just aren't broadcasting it? Like, I'm blah. Aren't cannot speak. Aren't broadcasting it like I'm broadcasting theirs. So I feel bad because, like, I'm shedding them in a negative light when, although a lot of times I have thought about them in negative lights in the past, where I have like begun to see them in negative light, like it's still like not okay for me to like only speak of the negatives, even though the negatives are what have impacted me the most. Like they've also done many things that have affected me in good ways as well. So like I just feel like I need to make those videos private because, like, they don't need to, like, affect your opinion on my family as much as they do. So, I also feel like, because I do plan in the future to talk about my YouTube channel, like, freely and openly and, like, be okay about it. And I can't do that if I feel guilt over certain videos of mine, so. Because I've actually thought about, like, telling my mom about my YouTube channel, or telling, like, my Uncle Mike about it, or whoever. But I also feel like they would definitely not appreciate the videos that I've made about my family. So that's another reason why I want to make those videos private. Because, like, although they're important to me, and I know, like, some of you think they're important to you guys, and, like, it is, like, part of my little story motto where, like, I share my pain and I talk about it and, like, talk about how, like, it's okay to feel pain and it's okay to, like, not have, like, perfection, and it's okay to not feel okay as long as you're, like, trying to, like, help yourself. And those videos are a big part of that, and they're a big part of my past, but they're also, like, really detailed, and they go into, like, like, a lot of detail that, like, is unnecessary, I feel like, to get the brunt of the picture. So I think I'm gonna make those videos private, and then if I continue, like, if I talk about them ever again, like, or if I make official videos about them ever again, it's probably just gonna be, like, kind of more vague and, like, not as many details, because the details are make it seem the worst. And, like, I feel like because a lot of people are exposed to how bad some family lives are, because my family life was, like, not the greatest, but, like, there are way worse families, and they don't talk about it. And I think that's why people think my family life is so bad, and that they're such bad parents, and, like, all of this and that. But, like, there are worse families out there, way worse, and they don't talk about it at all because they're too scared to. And I'm not afraid to talk about it because, to me, I've grown past it and they're not hurting me anymore. And, like, it's okay. Like, I've grown past it and I've learned to talk about it. And there are people who are going or have gone through, like, way worse families and are too afraid to talk about it because it's, like, 10 times or 100 times more traumatic than what my experiences are. And they don't have the exposure that I do to talk about. Like, they may be even more sheltered than I was with my mom. Like, you don't know. And so I feel like because not a lot of people have, like, talked about their family experiences, about, like, what it's like to feel neglect and abuse, whether verbal or physical, like, people are shocked and, like, think that it's horrible when, I mean, yes, it is horrible, but it's also, like, a part of life, and it happens to people way more often than you'd think. And just because I'm talking about it doesn't mean that I'm the only one. It doesn't mean that, like, you should be afraid to talk about it either. And so, yeah, like, I don't think you should be afraid to talk about it. I think you should know what to say and what not to say. Like, how to be appropriately vague, but also, like, give enough detail that they understand. But also not enough detail where, like, you will offend your family. And so, yeah, that's why I'm privating these videos. Not because I'm afraid of them, or that I'm afraid of my past, or that I'm ashamed of my past, but because I know that they would not appreciate the way that I've talked about them in such detail. And so, yeah. And also, it's like you guys have had negative, like, reaction to it too, which I understand, but I think you guys, like, misunderstand how, like, mild it is compared to other people's lives, and how I'm not the only one, and, like, it's not really their fault. Well, I mean, this is somewhat of their fault, but, like, some of it has to do with their fault, and some of it just has to do with their mind, and, like, they can't help what their mind does. I mean, even if it's a mental illness, or if it's just ignorance, like, it's still, like, the same thing. Like, it's just your mind. So, I mean, and I might have my bad days and like rant and like hate them or think I hate them even though I don't. Like, it's still not right for me to just bash talk them or like just make it seem worse than it actually is, or just go into such explicit detail that it like seems worse. Like, you know, even if it's not. Well, I mean, I've never lied and I've never exaggerated on any of it. Like, I've always told the complete truth. But I feel like because I've gone into such detail and people don't normally go into such detail that I have gone into, that it's become less like less of a professional like story and like an influential story of like, this is pain but it's okay to feel it, into more of like, oh no, like give me, like I'm suffering so much, like feel pity for me, which was never my intention. But I feel like that's kind of what it's turned into now, which I don't want at all. Like, I just want to share my story for people to understand, like, and not be afraid to speak up, because I know there are like tons of people, not only in America but around the world, who have gone through either similar situations that I have, or worse situations, or even milder situations, but still similar enough situations where they should speak up. And they don't because they're afraid to, because not a lot of people do speak up. And I want to be one of those like advocates. But I also don't want to go into such detail that my family gets offended and like is like triggered because like I went into too much detail and like made my audience hate them when they shouldn't. Like, not everyone is bad. Not everyone is like evil, and like people make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that they're an overall bad person. Like, my mom is an alcoholic. Like, she like has sometimes physically abused me, and she's verbally abused me, and she's neglected me. But a lot of that had to do with her own past of way worse abuse than I've gone through, and also like her mind is not all the way there. And so, like, it's not entirely her fault. I mean, she could have gone to God and the help that she would have needed, but she didn't, and that is her fault. But she is getting help now, and I don't live with her now, and I'm not being neglected or abused now. So it's okay, and she's trying to help herself, and I'm trying to help myself. So it's not as bad anymore, and I can always forgive someone if they're trying to make it better. If she was still trying to control me, and if she was still trying to abuse me or neglect me, then that would be a problem. But it's not, because she is trying to help herself. And I'm not with her anymore, and I'm not being controlled by her anymore, so it's okay. And I know that she loves me, and I love her, and it's okay. So, like, it's okay. Like, there's no need to hate her. And there's no need to, like, have grudges against her or, like, have anything against her, because even though she's made many mistakes in her life, like, she's at least trying to help herself now, and that's okay. I mean, I don't think I'll ever fully trust her or, like, not fear her ever again, but I know that I love her, and that's enough. And it's also enough that she's helping herself and trying to redeem herself. And there's always that. And then, sure, my grandma, like, has dementia, and then we fight a lot. And I, like, literally seclude myself in my room all the time because I cannot handle having conversations with her sometimes, because having someone repeat themselves over and over to you, having someone lecture you on the same things over and over again, having someone refuse to get what they need or what they need help with is extremely frustrating. An example of this is just today when I made dinner. Well, I didn't make dinner. I heated up leftovers that someone else made. And I made two, like, sets. Like, I made grandma's and then I made mine. And I was like, I called grandma to the table. I was like, yo, can you, like, eat? And she was like, nope. And I was like, okay, like, are you gonna eat? And she's like, no, just go ahead and eat without me. And I'm just like, but there's food, like, you need to eat. And she was like, no. And I was like, frustration. Like, I was so frustrated. I was like, okay. But I was like, no. if you antagonize her, it's just gonna make it worse. Like, don't say anything, just calmly encourage her, like, let's just keep doing that. And I kept doing that and kept doing it. It didn't work. And then I tried kind of guilt tripping her like a kid. I was kind of like, you wouldn't want my uncle to be upset that you're not eating his food, would you? And she got even more upset with me and was like, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't care. And I was like, okay, never mind. Like, I don't know. No. And I was like, calm yourself, Angela. Like, calm. We're calm. And it's infuriating because I do my best to try and help her and subtly convince her to do things without letting her know that I'm convincing her to do things, and then telling her to do things, or like wanting to do things and then telling her that I want this and her refusing me, and just endless and repetition. It's like Groundhog Day, but instead of just someone repeating and blissfully unaware that they're repeating stuff, she knows she's repeating stuff, so she's like fighting it, and instead of fighting herself, she's fighting me over her repeating stuff and doing Groundhog Day. It's if you don't understand what Groundhog Day is, it's basically this movie that was like in the 90s, and this guy, Tom Hanks I think it was, he on Groundhog Day, he was like a journalist, and he went to like do something for Groundhog Day in this like little itty bitty town that has this like weird tradition for Groundhog Day. And then on Groundhog Day, like the next day, he woke up and it repeated itself. And the whole movie is about him experiencing Groundhog Day over and over and over again. I hated that movie. It was so long and it was all repeating and just so stupid, in my opinion. My mom loved it because she loves Tom Hanks. I hated it because I don't like Tom Hanks or repetition. Anyways, so I have to deal with that. And then I have to deal with, like... So I'm dealing with stuff that, like, most people wouldn't be dealing with at my age, because a lot of people don't have to deal with living with someone with dementia or having to take care of someone with dementia at my age. But, like, that doesn't mean that other people don't experience it, because lots of people experience it. I'm just experiencing it at a younger age. So, it's okay, because this means in the future I'll be more prepared when my dad has dementia, or when my mom has dementia, or when whoever in my family who's older than me has dementia. Or Alzheimer's, God forbid. But, I mean, like, it's inevitable that one of those two things, is gonna get you when you get to around her age. So, like, yes, I get very frustrated with her, but, like, it doesn't mean that I have to, like, hold this anger in and, like, hate her or hate myself or, like, hate the situation because it's uncontrollable. Like, I can't control her mind, so why am I, like, gonna get angry or hate her about it? Like, you know? So I feel like a lot of people, like, do that, and then I feel like because I get caught up in my emotions in the moment, like, my audience does as well, and, like, hold grudges against certain family members, and just, like, I don't think it's right, because, like, I guess it's kind of my fault because they're not here. They don't understand because they're not here, and you guys are just getting what I'm putting out. So, like, whatever I say, like, you guys just have to trust as the truth, which it is the truth, but it's also slightly skewed because it's from my point of view. So, and also a lot of times when I am heated in the moment, like, I kind of, like, neglect certain other facts. And just, yeah, so I feel like you guys have, like, a skewed view of my family when it shouldn't be that way. And the same thing with my dad. Even though I really dislike how close-minded he is, it doesn't mean that I don't love him. And hopefully when I come out to him and when I tell him certain things, like, he will change. And if he doesn't, then, or if he doesn't while I'm around him, then hopefully he changes in the future. But, like, no promises, because he's my dad. Like, I don't know. And I feel like we shouldn't be so fixated on controlling other people and changing other people than controlling ourselves and, like, containing ourselves and, like, moving on with ourselves instead of just focusing on the situation and other people in the situation, you know? So, that's my little PSA for today. Like, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm gonna make those videos private. And then if I do continue talking about it, I'm probably just gonna keep it like vague and just like tell the facts instead of just like every little detail of what I've been through. Because every little detail of what I've been through, like, although it was painful and it was a lot for me personally, like, it could be nothing compared to someone who is halfway across the world, or someone who's even in America who like suffers like 100 times worse and has to deal with that every single day and can't escape it, where I got the chance to escape it and I got the chance to forgive them and I got the chance to move on with my life. Where there are people who are dealing with way worse than whatever I've gone through and are not able to escape and are trapped in that situation, just like I felt like I was trapped. And some people are truly trapped and they cannot escape, and they will live their entire lives in that situation over and over and over again. And that just like tears me to pieces, but like it's the world and you can't change it. Because you can't change your pain. It'll always be there. And you can't change like people's minds, and you can't change people's situations. And like, so yeah, just don't hate on my family or anyone else who's like hurt me, because they have their own lives and they have their own situations and they have their own pasts and their own minds, and I don't know their stories. And even if I do, like, it's not like it's not entirely their fault. Like, sometimes it's a situation, or sometimes it's just emotions that control the situation, or like sometimes it's just your own mind. So just asking for you to not hold any grudges against anyone that has hurt me, or that I have like gone into explicit detail over and made you dislike because of that. And just forgive them, even like though you don't know them and you don't technically know me, since we're like speaking through video. I'm speaking through video, you're speaking through comments. But yeah, like this is just, I don't know. Okay. Also, yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I've been like holding a lot of like self-doubt and like insecurities, because like I'm somewhat ashamed of this channel sometimes, because I feel like I'm not good enough, and that people would think it was weird, especially people in my family would think it was weird if I told them about it, even though it's such a big part of my life. And I've been trying to figure out why. And I think sometimes it's because other creators get to me where they're just like, their like ideas or their like editing or their like just humor just is like so like amazing, and then I like let it get to me and I just kind of like, I'm never gonna be like that, like that's great, like and or sometimes it's just that like I have certain videos of mine, like I was talking about, where I like feel embarrassed about, because like I feel like I go into too much detail about, and I feel like it affects you, and it affects, like, it would affect, like, my family if they knew that I made those videos about them. So, yeah. That's why I want to make them private, and just, yeah. I feel like I've been talking about my channel a lot, like to an excessive amount, where, like, I'm kind of like, girl, stop. But, like, I can't, because every day I think about this channel, and I'm always debating on this channel. Like, do I keep going? Or do I stop? And some days it seems so easy to keep going, and some days it's, like, so hard to just say hi and, like, just turn on the camera. And so easy to say goodbye as well. And then sometimes, like, I make, like, 50 videos in one day because I just can't stop talking. And it varies. And it's, like, very frustrating, because I feel like I'm in a constant roller coaster. Not only in my life, but on this channel as well. Which, I mean, this channel is, like, a lot of my life. That sounds so bad. I meant like, I mean, it does take a lot of my time because like literally like these videos are like the only productive thing I've been doing this entire summer. That's very sad. I know that's very sad. Okay, you don't need to remind me, okay? The life, okay? I mean, okay, anyways, what was I saying? Great, we forgot. Like, that's great. I don't know why I refer to myself as we. Like, there anybody else here? No. Like, this is, am I insane? Possibly. Like, very, very possible. I do not remember what I was talking about, like, at all. Like 2 seconds ago, I had like an idea, and then just 1 second ago, like I like totally blanked on it, and like now, I don't know what to talk about. So I'm just gonna end the video now, okay? Bye.